Hello and welcome to another video with Gamers Class. This is Shizzy Dota here, and today, guys, we're gonna be doing a video on going from Guardian to Crusader. I'll be watching a replay in this video, and basically, I'll be telling you guys what this Shadow Fiend could have done better, what he's doing is okay, and he could work on it even better, and just overall things to work on as a Guardian player to get to the Crusader bracket. Alright, so without any further ado, let's get right into it and let's look at all the things that a Guardian player can do to reach the level of a Crusader.
Prepare for battle.
Now, the most of the things that I'm going to be talking about in this video, it does not necessarily mean that you have to do these things to get to Crusader. Maybe if you start doing these things, you actually might even hit a higher rank. Because my current rank personally is Immortal. Yeah, so I'll obviously be talking about my Immortal gameplay from that perspective. So the current game is a Guardian game though, and it's going to help you level up to that next rank. So the starting items on the Shadow Fiend are okay. For some reason he's bought his own tangos when he's already gotten a pooled share of tangos. So I don't really understand what's the point of that.
First blood.
And he also has 90 gold on it. So I do feel like he could just get some mangoes or actually get something instead of this tangos, because he doesn't really need it from the very beginning. Since he can just call up a region, right? So I do feel like maybe you could get a slipper, maybe another circlet, you know. That's a nice deny. Nice, yes. So far. I do feel like that the Shadow Fiend could be playing more aggressively here, since he clearly sees that the Viper has only gotten his W, right? So the Viper is not really strong here. If you look at his skill build, he doesn't have levels in corrosive skin. That means he takes full damage from the raises, and if he uses poison attack, it doesn't do much damage early on. Actually, it just takes away a lot of mana from him. So I feel like the Shadow Fiend could be super aggressive here, and he's playing this really passively. And the way he should be playing aggressively here is that he should use one raise, like this, then use another one on him, and keep on spamming these raises until he has like 4 or 5 Shadow Raise ticks on him. But the Shadow Fiend is only playing defensively, and at the same time he's only using one raise at him. He's not stacking those raises, which is very important as a Shadow Fiend. Yeah, only one raise so far. That's what I've noticed, and that's not good for Shadow Fiend in any way.
Radiant's courier
I feel
has
like
been killed.
you have to stack the raises to pressure the enemy harder. Okay, so he buys a Null Talisman, which I'm in favor of. It's pretty good on the Shadow Fiend. If you want to play the magical Shadow Fiend, the Talisman is good. It gives you 3 spell amplification, 0.6 mana regeneration. It's not that bad. I would still recommend buying Bottle before you complete your Null Talisman, which he gets, so it's fine. He's got 15 CS compared to the Viper, which is okay. I think the only problem that I see right now in the laning stage is that Shadow Fiend is just playing this very passive, when he could be playing way more aggressively. Also, the Shadow Fiend at this point can deny way more creeps as well. He only has 5 denies, and I feel like he can potentially just deny every creep until the Viper starts to play aggressive. Like, look at how scared the Shadow Fiend is. I want to talk about this. So actually, the Viper cannot really zone him out because he's not maxing Q, and Shadow Fiend is not even getting pressured. He's just mentally pressured here. Like, obviously, Viper is a stronger hero than Shadow Fiend in the laning stage. Viper is just a very strong laner, but since you're not getting pressured, right? The Shadow Fiend is not getting pressured right now. I just feel like he should make more moves on him. And if he starts to get pressured, then he could play passively. But he's playing passively even before getting pressured, and I just feel like that's a mental thing more than a Dota thing. I think he's a bit scared of the matchup. Hmm. So he decided to get aggressive once the Viper has a blade mill. It's the Shadow Fiend is all over the place with his mistakes, to be honest. Um, I think the Viper skill build is actually not that good because until level 6, the Viper couldn't have killed the Shadow Fiend. And apparently the Shadow Fiend decides to make a move when the Viper is level 6 or 7 potentially. So I just feel like that the Shadow Fiend in this scenario, in this matchup, just doesn't understand the matchup good enough. So a Viper, guys, a Viper is very strong for the fact that poison attack, the Q, does a lot of damage as it stacks over time. It gets stacked up to 5 times. So potentially it's gonna slow you 12% multiplied by 5. It's gonna do damage per second 16 multiplied by 5, right? And it's gonna reduce your magic resistance 9 multiplied by 5. Okay, so basically at level 7, if you have this maxed out, you just solo kill Shadow Fiend even before he can do anything. Since the Viper did not do it, the Shadow Fiend could be more aggressive until the Viper has Viper Strike. And that's why he got solo killed here. So it's something, if you're laning a Viper, you want to check this out. If he's maxing Q or not. If you're taking a lot of damage from his Qs, that means he is. If he's not, then you can be a bit aggressive until he's... Actually, the Shadow Fiend could have killed the Viper here. Now, why? Why could he kill the Viper here? The Viper has 275 movement speed. The Shadow Fiend has 370 movement speed with his Windlace and his Boots of Speed. So all he really had to do here was go, use the... Actually, he should just walk close to him, use Z, X, and C. He dies, actually. But Shadow Fiend is not really abusing his items here. Now, if you notice that the Viper is actually abusing his Blade Mill. He's using his Blade Mill to deal more damage to the Shadow Fiend, right? But the Shadow Fiend, he has a Boot and a Windlace, and he's not using it. So you have to have an idea of the items that you have and what kind of benefits it gives you to get a better matchup in every lane. Not just the mid lane, but every lane.
Regeneration.
I'm
Killing spree.
really not sure.
Killing spree.
At this point, what the Shadow Fiend should do is just push out the wave and just like go to the jungle. There's just no way. At this point, the Shadow Fiend can fight the Viper. Like, just like, yeah. He's trying to fight the Viper. And this is the second time he's doing this, and I don't know, he's not learning from his mistakes. It's very important, guys, to learn from your mistakes as the game goes on. So if you get solo killed once by one guy, it's fine. And it doesn't even matter what your rank is. Even if you're like 10k MMR, it's fine. Even 10k MMR players get solo killed. But what's wrong is getting solo killed twice or thrice doing the same mistake. You have to learn from your mistakes as the game goes on. So this is the second time the Shadow Fiend tries to push the wave, and while he's pushing the wave, he suddenly starts to fight the Viper. The Viper pops his Blade Mill, and the Shadow Fiend is completely bamboozled, and he dies. So the first death, I really won't really like talk about it as much, but the second death, it's a big deal. And you don't want to repeat your same mistake in your games. So normally I would suggest to start making rotations when you have a good rune, or when you have Yules on you, so you can ensure a kill. Otherwise it's really like just hard to walk into someone and hit 2 or 3 raises. But in this case, the PA, I don't know, he was just farming at low HP, and that was kind of stupid, but it turned out really good in the Shadow Fiend's favor. I would still recommend rotating after you have Yules on the Shadow Fiend. That's your perfect timing. But this turns out good, so
Dire's
it's
top
okay.
tower is under attack.
Okay, I actually like what the Shadow Fiend is
Dire's
doing here.
bottom tower
He's playing a
is
bit
under
passive and
attack.
just pushing waves and farming jungle until he has his Yules. That's exactly what you want to do as a Shadow Fiend.
Shadows take us. This should make my life easier.
So when you're playing Shadow Fiend, guys, what you want to do is you just wanna use raises, push out the wave, push out the jungle, push out wave, farm jungle, push out wave, farm jungle, go top, push that wave out, farm jungle. Try to boost up your farm. Your nukes push waves. It's probably the fastest wave clear in the game as a mid laner. Literally one of the fastest, if not the fastest. And the faster you abuse this, the higher chances of you actually winning the game. Because if you get a dagger and Yules in like 16 minutes or 17 minutes, that's the perfect timing, actually. And if you do, you can potentially solo kill anyone on the map. Like, he could just use this Weaver and this Weaver just dies. And the Weaver actually gives away a lot of gold and experience. He could just use this Mirana and the Mirana just dies. All of them just die apart from the fact that Viper has a Blade Mill and the Bristleback is just really tanky. But everyone else just dies in one combo. And this will only enable his game furthermore. Alright, so he's actually using the Yules. Getting some kills off that Yules. That is exactly what you want to do. And now, he's kind of messing it up, I think. Okay, nice raises. So once you've used your combo as a Shadow Fiend, right? Once you've gotten a kill, you go back to farming. Shadow Fiend on the mid lane is very greedy hero, guys. Keep that in mind. And once you've used your combo, once you get a solo kill or you get some kills in team fights, really it's just really whatever. But once it's done, you go back to farming. What the Shadow Fiend was doing here with the Bristleback, it was very risky. And if he dies to the Bristleback here, it completely ruins his game. Because Shadow Fiend shines when he's pushing waves and farming jungle. So what the Shadow Fiend normally wants to do right now is farm maybe this camp, go push this wave, get this double damage, farm this camp, farm here, go play top with the Underlord, get this tower, you know? This is how he wants to play here. And let's see what he actually does. This is what I would do as an Immortal player, but let's see what he does. Does he go back? Does he go back to base? Okay. So he's gonna go push him in. He's wasting a lot of time. And he's panicking. Oh, that's a classic panic, is that... like, in these scenarios, guys, I want to talk about just overall use, okay? So, in these kind of scenarios, if somebody is running at you, okay? Like, if somebody is... I know he was trying to dodge the Viper Strike, but he doesn't have to, really. If somebody's running at you, and it's only a solo guy, and even if he silences you or whatever, in a one-on-one situation, you should never use yourself. You should use the enemy and try to run away. It's always a better way to go for. And in this case, Shadow Fiend just basically kills himself. Nobody else can be blamed for this. The good thing is that the Witch Doctor gets a comeback kill, and he actually got 2 levels out of that, so that's really good. But overall, that was a big panic from the Shadow Fiend. He could have pushed out the wave as well and get this double damage, farm his own jungle. He could have done a lot of things, but rather he just wasted a lot of time. And it's more about efficiency, guys. It's very, very important to be more efficient over the map. Constantly. If you're a mid laner, guys, you have to constantly be doing something. Be it hitting jungle creeps, be it hitting waves, be it hitting towers, be it hitting heroes, but you have to constantly do something in the game. If you're just moving around like here or just moving around the map and being clueless, you're most likely to lose. It's always better to hit creeps, push waves, or farm jungle than to just roam around the map as a mid laner. It's better than doing nothing, right? Something is better than nothing, basically. So let's have a look at the Shadow Fiend again. I kind of, not gonna lie, I kind of got distracted watching the sniper. So let's go back to the Shadow Fiend. I wanna talk about this as well. This build, if you go into theory, this build is not gonna help him. Now, when you have Yules, guys, just Yules alone is not enough. You need a Blink Dagger to reposition yourself and kill the enemy, right? So I just feel like him not buying Blink is not that good here. Rushing BKB, even though he doesn't really need it, only hero that's really bothering him is the Viper. And if he has a Blink Dagger, the Viper cannot really ever catch him or kill him if he's fast enough on the Shadow Fiend. So I just feel like the BKB won't even help him. The PA will right-click him. Mirana, well, the Mirana can't do anything, but the Bristleback will also run at him. The Weaver will also run at him. And yeah, I just think rushing a BKB here is a very big mistake, and not a lot of players would go for this mistake above this bracket. Okay, so the Shadow Fiend is pretty close to the BKB. I would say that his farm is not that bad. I just think that the item build and the item progression is slightly bad. I think having a Yules and a BKB in like 22 minutes
Radiant are scanning.
is close to very good, actually, in terms of farming.
Dire's
I
middle
just think it
tower
could have been
is
done
under attack.
better in terms of farm and in terms of item progression and buying the right items.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Nice. See what I'm talking about? This item, guys, this Yules on the Shadow Fiend is crazy good. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can just solo kill anyone even if you're far behind. Look at this Viper. He is so farmed. He was so high leveled. The Shadow Fiend technically has only one item of value, and that's the Yules. He Yules the Viper, and it's not even the perfect Yules, actually. It's not the perfect combo here. If you look at this, the way you Yule someone,
Radiant's middle tower is under
you have to be
attack.
really close to him. He wasn't really close as well. Actually, the Viper walked in to be really close. And keep in mind that the Viper has 25% magic resistance as well. And Shadow Fiend solo kills him. And that's why I love this magical Shadow Fiend with Yules. And it's way better with the Blink Dagger. I do feel like, guys, overall, I do feel like watching this replay, the Shadow Fiend is very scared. From the very beginning of the game, I could tell that the Shadow Fiend has a lot of mental pressure on him as the game goes on. I think he could just use the PA over here and just kill him. He uses Dagger, pop his ultimate, and the PA dies. But for some reason, the Shadow Fiend actually uses himself and runs away. I don't know why he's so scared of the PA. Yeah, he has a double damage, but you don't care about the double damage. Because once you're gonna Yule him, the double damage is gonna get debuffed. On top of it, he just dies. Like, Yule him.
Double damage.
Oh, it was on cooldown. Okay. But I mean, he could stay over there. And like, you know, probably force the PA to go on him or something. But backing off over there, I just feel like he's very scared. And I've noticed in a lot of scenarios as well. When you're playing Dota, guys, play it with a lot of confidence. Like, it doesn't really matter what your rank is, but you have to like tell yourself you're a good player and you were made for, you know, having a better game. Like, you can't be looking down on yourself if that's what you do when you're playing Dota. You have to be very confident. You have to tell yourself you're the best players in the world or something, whatever gets you going. But you need to have a lot of confidence in you when you're playing Dota. That's what I feel like.
Monster
Didn't
kill.
use Essence Ring. If he used it, he would have lived.
Godlike. Double kill.
I've noticed a lot, actually, as I've watched this game go on, and I'm noticing it more and more, that people really don't use their neutral items in the lower brackets more. So using your neutral items, keeping an eye on it, and exactly knowing what kind of value your neutral item is giving you is also very important. I feel like most players just have a neutral item as like, okay, it's better than not having one, so I'll just get one, and they don't even think about the item actually.
A golden thread.
This should make my life easier.
I feel like the Shadow Fiend is just not ever using his BKB for his combo.
Kill.
And this is the second time I've noticed this. The first time I noticed this was when he was going on the Bristleback here, and the Bristleback had a blade mail. And now he goes on the Viper, and he's not popping his BKB. So let's say if the Viper uses blade mail, the Shadow Fiend actually kills himself over here. But if he pops his BKB, he doesn't really care about the blade mill. So I'm really wondering what kind of value is he getting from not using his BKB. You don't really care as a Shadow Fiend if your BKB gets to 5 seconds, because eventually you're gonna be level 25, and you're gonna have that cooldown reduction, and you will have BKB the most on the map. So, like, you don't really have to care about it as much. So I'm just really wondering why he's putting in so much value into this BKB. I wouldn't recommend doing this at all.
A golden thread. This should make my life easier.
Holy shit!
He's also going for Agdams. And now, Agdams is actually pretty good on the Shadow Fiend, don't get me wrong. But I just feel like, in this scenario, he needs armor. Okay, he needs Shivas, most likely. Or even a Lincoln's at max. So he can not get jumped by the PA, the Bristow Bag, or the Atos or something. But he needs more armor. Otherwise, he's going to die like a creep to the PA, which he is just now. So I'm not exactly sure about the item build as well. Throughout the game, I feel like the item build hasn't been on point. Let's have a look at the net worth.
Roshan has fallen to the down.
I think in terms of net worth, he's actually pretty okay. Like, he's right there where Shadow Fiend should be. In terms of net worth in a 37-minute game. I just feel like the itemization is quite wrong this game. I mean, at this point, the Shadow Fiend can just like solo kill anyone. But like I said, he kind of messed up by buying this item. If he has a Lincoln Sphere, he's gonna never be scared of the PA, but he's really scared of the PA now because of the Abyssal. So let's say the Shadow Fiend blinks in to kill this Viper, which he actually can easily without any problem. So let's say the Shadow Fiend goes into a team fight right now, blinks in, he holds the Viper, pops his BKB, and starts casting his ultimate. What's gonna happen is that this PA is gonna use Abyssal on him, and the Shadow Fiend cannot do anything, and he will die, right? So that's why this Ags is not good here, and it's kind of game ruining for him. And I feel like most of his items in this entire game has like ruined his own game.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's middle tower
See?
is under attack.
The Abyssal just kills him really hard on the Shadow
Radiant's
Fiend.
middle tower has fallen.
And that's game, I think.
Radiant's middle barracks.
Let's get.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
I'll be honest, I feel really bad for the sniper losing, to be honest. For the conclusion for this video, I would say is the things that you want to improve on, the things that I clearly saw and I'm seeing in a lot of Guardian and Herald games is your itemization. Okay, your itemization, you have to work on it. You have to watch games, you have to watch replays, and you have to question yourself. When you're buying a certain item, guys, you have to question yourself. What kind of value is this giving me? What will it do? And what does the enemy throw at me? And like, how do I itemize for what the enemy is throwing at me? So the enemy is throwing at you an Abyssal Blade. They're throwing at you an Atos. They're throwing at you a lot of right clicks. They're throwing at you a lot of goos, arrows, and a lot of physical damage, basically. All right. So how do you itemize for a lot of physical damage, Atos, and Abyssal Blade? You buy a Lincoln's and you buy a Shiva's, right? But what does the Shadow Fiend do? He buys an Aghanims, right? And that kind of ruins his game. So you have to ask yourself these questions, and it's okay if you don't get it done in the first time. Like, if you ask yourself, if the enemy is throwing at me a lot of spells, like Abyssal Blade, and I need armor for physical damage, what do I buy? You might end up buying Lotus Orb, or maybe Assault, or I don't know. You know, you might buy the wrong item, but it's okay as long as you're getting there. But if you're just buying items that you've been buying for a very long time, just and playing on autopilot without questioning yourself for buying items, you're never gonna increase MMR in that way. You have to be very active, and you have to be in a mental state where you're always questioning yourself, and you're questioning your plays as well as the game goes on. The second thing I noticed is pushing waves. I've realized as the game is in the lower brackets and the lower ranks, people tend to not push waves as much. People don't understand this concept in these brackets, that pushing waves is the most important thing in Dota. Even supports do it now. And I'm seeing that most mid laners don't do it in this bracket, whereas an immortal player, immortal support, is pushing waves way faster than most mid laners in this bracket. So I feel like this concept has to be cleared about pushing waves. You have to push waves to win games, guys. If you're pushing waves, it basically gives you more information on the map. If you're pushing waves, someone has to defend it on the enemy, and if they're defending it, that gives you information that, okay, this guy is pushing here, so right now he cannot kill me, or you can actually go gank him, or if you take a team fight, this hero will not be able to join that team fight, right? It will also give you a lot of info if somebody TPs to defend, if they're using a lot of spells to farm those creeps, you know. It just gives you a lot of info, and pushing waves is one of the most important things in Dota, guys. So these are the two things that I've noticed from watching a Herald game and a Guardian game, that itemization, pushing waves, CSing, and just the laning stage overall. These things are not the best in this bracket, and it's something that you have to work on. You just have to, and there's a lot of ways to work on them. You can watch a lot of replays. You've watched this video. As long as you identify the problem, you can work on it, right? So I've identified the problem for you guys, and now it's on you guys to work on it and grind your way to a higher rank. That's it for me, guys. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye. Shezi Dota signing out.